8:23, welcome back to BT on this Monday morning, a week away from back to school. Debby Carreau, I know, right? For some it is. Our HR expert is back, and as we prepare for back to school, an interesting conversation happening right now about the traditional form of education, post-secondary degrees and how they impact our careers. What are you finding? Do you need the traditional degree to land a great job?
You know what's really interesting now is so many of the big companies have changed their minds and they've changed their requirements, and they're saying you no longer need a university degree. So gone are the days where you'd go to university, get a degree, and be guaranteed a secure job forever.
Well, I always respected going through the process. I went to SFU back in the days, just becoming a critical thinker. So when you say, okay, if they're not looking for the degree, what are some of the key skills they still do look for those that are going to be applying?
Yeah. So first of all, having a degree is important, so don't think that it's not. But 75% of the population, according to Stats Can, does not have a degree that's of working age. So wow. There's a huge portion of the population that doesn't have a degree. So one of the things that employers are looking for today are the ability to learn and some of the other kind of skills that they can add to the job. So experience is a big one and things like that. So yes, university is important, but there are all these other skills too, and you can learn on the job as well.
Well, I think a lot about entrepreneurship, but taking an idea and getting all that life experience at a young age and applying that. But who are some of these companies that are hiring these students that don't necessarily have a degree?
So some of them are really big names. So if you look at the tech sector, you've got Apple, you've got IBM, you've got Intel, so all those really big names out there. If you look at hospitality, you've got and sort of retail, you've got Costco, you've got Whole Foods, Hilton. The list really goes on. And even if you look at some of the professional services companies like PwC, EY, even my company, we've kind of changed our rules too. So no matter what sector you're looking for, other than maybe sort of law or medicine, absolutely there's great jobs to be had.
And how prevalent is it if you get in at a young age, you're with the company, and then you decide you want to get more formal education under your belt? Are these companies supportive of you taking time away?
So there's two things there. One is most companies are offering some kind of education to you. So whether it's actual courses that help you do your job better, or they're companies now that are actually integrating within work a university degree. So AT&T is a good example where they've partnered with a university, and you can get a degree while working with skills that are going to help you in that specific company. There are sabbaticals and that kind of thing too, but really more it's about what they can do to help you while you're working for them.
Okay, so somebody's out there right now thinking, yes, I want to get into the workforce, I don't have that traditional degree. What are some tips for those applying of what to keep in mind if they're getting attention and walking into an interview?
So first of all, the first thing I'd say is never apologize or make excuses for not having a degree. Focus instead on the experience that you have, your proven track record, that kind of thing. So never, ever apologize for it. Another one is, let's go back to the resume for a second. The average recruiter spends 6 seconds looking at a resume. So make sure that you highlight your skills and your experience first and put your education at the bottom. If you can wow them in those first 6 seconds, they're not even going to get down to your education.
In those 6 seconds, how are they scanning the page? Because when you have a pile of resumes, I could see that, it's a quick process. What are the skills that really jump out of on the page?
So there are a lot. There was a really interesting survey recently by Workopolis. So oral communication is a huge one. Good old-fashioned research. So remember back in high school, where you're reading, writing, and doing reports, that was an important one. Emotional intelligence. I could actually tweet them out, but there's lots of different skills that most people put that they're looking for. So when you're scanning that resume, those words jump out, so you want to get those right.
Okay, we're playing to strengths. Yet a couple other good tips of what to do when applying.
Yeah. My favorite one is look for internships. So we kind of think of internships as something you do as a college student. You don't have to be. So pick a couple companies that you really want to work for and either look at their career site to see if they have intern programs, or even call them or send them an email and just ask them, because internships, you get a foot in the door, you get to prove yourself, and more often than not, you get offered a position at the end of them.
And what's realistic for expectations and timelines if you're taking that internship to say, is it 6 months, is it to a year till you get a full-time career position?
Well, they're very different. There's internships and there's apprenticeships. Apprenticeships have got a fixed term where you actually have to get skills and pass a test. Internships are a little bit different in that sometimes they're just over the summer break. And then into the fall, a lot of companies are hiring, they'll bring you on. But usually it's not more than 3 to 6 months. Anything longer than that, you should actually have a formal job offer and not be an intern.
And final point, what are you seeing pay scale-wise for people entering the workforce, starting their careers, and not having the degree?
So funny enough, some of the actual highest paid jobs in Canada come from people that don't have degrees. So tech sector is huge. So whether you've got an app developer, a web developer, user experience, those are big ones. Sales is a very, very lucrative position. real estate, construction managers, truck drivers. There are these amazing high-paid jobs that you don't need a university degree for. You don't need to take on that extra debt. Or maybe if you are investing in an education, worry about getting a return on investment. So sometimes just follow your passion and see where it takes you.
That's a lot to consider, and I think the best lesson is just finding out what you want to do. I remember going through 4 or 5 years and then thinking, okay, I'm not going to become an investment broker. Let's go into broadcasting. So finding that one thing and then just driving forward.
Yeah, so many of us did many, many years of university. It was a great benefit, but we ended up in a career that was very different than what we thought we were going to school for.
More resources. Follow along on Twitter at Debby Carreau. Debbie, thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks, Riaz. Have a great day.
Always good.